Welcome, everybody. Welcome to my channel. B. Gwyneth, adore you, ladies. Thank you for showing up again and every week. Dana, welcome. Happy to have you here. Oh, it's dictating what I'm saying. Hang on just a minute. We got to get it just okay. It was my auto dictation was writing all the notes. Dana from Germany, hello. How are you doing? And Jeff Phillips has pulled over so he can join us today. We are talking about power. Now, this is one of those discussions that I enjoy because I'm one of the few that talks about these areas, and I like it that way. You've got a lot of information on attachment and, obsession and why they didn't call in narcissists and great people. I like to get into categories that I think are absolutely pivotal to relationships, disposition. I've done a lot on that, and power. Jessa, nice to see you here. You can't wait for this topic. Hi, Gladys. How are you doing? Good afternoon to everyone. Let me start off by saying that every relationship creates a power dynamic. This is how we figure out who gets what category. Now, I'm an only child, all right? But in family systems, every kid gets a category. And sometimes it's unfortunate if the power goes to the first kid. So let's say James is the first child. James happens to be athletic. Okay. Now Charlie comes by, kid number two. Charlie's super athletic, but guess what? James already has that category. So the power has been given to James. So now we have to find out where Charlie's power lies. And sometimes as a child, you've gotten siphoned into other areas of power that you had or didn't have, or that your family wanted you to have. Maybe you were the funny kid, or unfortunately, maybe you're the screw up. Maybe you're the intellectual kid. Oh, this is our little scientist. So you get cast in these roles right away. And what I'm talking about today is that most people feel that power is fixed. I believe it is mutable. And I'm calling in this hierarchical family structure to give you an example of this. I'm sure many of you who have siblings or even has a parent that has it all, you have to work to get out from under their wing. I know Michael Douglas was being trained by my boyfriend, who was a professional bodybuilder. And he is a phenomenal actor, but it was a lot of work for him to create an identity separate and apart from his father, Kirk Douglas, because he was so awesome. So maybe you are finding your power and your own expression of it separate and apart from someone in your family. Maybe you are finding a category that's uniquely yours. Guess what? We take all of this with us when we go into an intimate relationship. And intimate relationships carve out a balance of who gets what. Meaning, maybe you have a partner just like your family of origin who they get to be the bright one. Something happens, okay, it's that partner that gets the responsibility of deciding who we're going to follow, what political orientation we're going to have, where we go on vacation, what's right, where we live. Maybe they're that person. So oftentimes, if you were not given a category, or you have a mate that is really very difficult or dogmatic, you may get pushed into a category that is by default. Not to worry, these are mutable. I'm glad that you think this is impactful and this is good. The best YouTuber that helped me get through things, original by Bella. I love that. Absolutely. So we're going to talk about power. We're going to talk about control. Today, in this little time that we have together, you are going to figure out where your power lies, and you're going to find out where it doesn't and what you can do about it. Okay. Marta, hello from Mexico, doing home office, but taking time in my safe space. Welcome, everyone. B and Gwyneth are beloved individuals. I am so grateful I had a chance to meet them when I went to Munich, because they do not, this is not a paid position. Ladies and gentlemen, they're here every Thursday, whether they're camping in Poland. What was it, during COVID? I mean, you guys were with me every step of the way. I love, 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 and adore you. And thank you for this labor of love and for being part of my integral family here on YouTube. Nafthuza, how are you doing? I'm a reliable workhorse and a piggy bank. Let's see if we can't sort all of this out. Okay. Here is how power structure breaks down, okay? And I'm going to give you 7 basics. All right, the first. Now you've heard this before. The one who cares the least is the one who has the control. The one who is less in love. This is why you hear things like, "Oh, you should never love somebody more than they love you." I would contest that because it's a lot of work to walk through a relationship, love somebody, smile, make love to them, and not be in love with them. It's work. It's not joyous. When you truly love somebody, love them, and desire them, every moment with them is magnificent. Is there a downfall? Are you more susceptible? Yeah. Oh, but the juice, so much more potent and so much sweeter. And let's see, Gwyneth says, we love being here. And if it weren't for you, B and I wouldn't have found each other. That's a love story that occurred on Instagram and was completely unexpected. B was a client of mine. Gwyneth was a follower, and B's beautiful watercolors of some of my quotes. I was showing on Instagram, and the two found each other. And through their common love of art and poetic consciousness and Gwyneth's unique connection to nature and all things ethereal, magical, beautiful, mystical, and B's open, warm, loving heart, they found each other. And so I'm very grateful for that. Is it better for the man or woman to be the adorer in the relationship? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Let me explain why. Okay. So the one who has a certain level of detachment, they will be in control because they can walk away much more easily. But it doesn't mean that that's super rewarding for them to be there. Here's where it gets difficult. If you're more invested than they are, this is especially problematic in the beginning in new relationships. When you've been with them a couple months, you're sleeping with them, you want to define the relationship, maybe you want to be married, you're looking for something serious, and you start to realize that no matter what they said online, no matter what they said when they first met you to get you into bed, you're starting to realize, oh, no, no, um, they're not as motivated as I am. And that's where, in the early stages, if we can get out, we should reassess our position. In early stage dating, if you are having to struggle to lock down what they want, if you want commitment and they don't tolerate this. Unfortunately, some people are in relationships not for the right reasons, and they can be opportunistic and they can be enjoying their time with you because they're getting additional rewards from it. This we also want to watch out for. So, generally speaking, cold as it sounds, the person who cares less has more control. However, they are not enjoying the relationship as much when it's good. If predominantly the relationship is good and you love more, that's an ideal position. Believe it or not, it really is. Okay, so that's one form of power. Number 2, they call the initiator and the reactor. I'm going to say this a little bit differently. I believe the one with the strongest wants. We've all known that person. Like, I tend to be mutable in relationships because there aren't that many things I'm going to fight for in a friendship. In a friendship, okay? Uh, I know my bottom line of my must-haves, but the rest of it, you know, okay. Uh, when you have a person who is absolutely, I'm doing this, we're doing that, it's got to be like this, that's impossible. They're in control, but ultimately they won't control you. So this is where it flips. A person like that decides everything. It's going to their way or the highway. And I've severed 20-year friendships with people like this and 10-year relationships with a lover and partner. Okay? Because they are impossible. And even if you, on the other end, are being agreeable and trying to find some kind of negotiation and middle ground, you're going to end up finding that you have so much resentment for them that your love will die. And then guess what? Now your love dies and you become back in control with power because you're the one who cares less. Interesting, right? It's not always the way we think it is. Let me just take a look. If anybody has a question, put it in super chat. I'm only in number 2. I'm going to go up to number 7. Who's got the power? Because we tend to think of who's got the power as who has money and financial resources. And it's not always that. It looks like that in old school world where it was heterosexual relationships, the man has the money, women don't, they need him for social standing and survival. Yep, he had the power. Nathusa, $5. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Ma'am, if SP is not wishing birthday, what should I do? We are no, I don't know what, oh, special person. We are no contact. I'll get back to something like that later, Mohan, okay? Nathusa, thank you. There's an issue with Super Chat, okay? I don't doubt it. This happens quite often. Thank you. See, Nathusa knows her way around here. If you have a big problem, talk to B or Gwyneth. They will help me out here. How realistic is it to ask to build a serious relationship while working 60 plus hours a week? Want to be fair to a potential partner. Okay. This is a unique situation and it has to be revealed from the beginning. Nathusa, no matter how beautiful you are, I think I've seen photos of you. You're really hot, okay? They're going to walk away. Half of them will say, I'm not interested. The other 1/4, let's say there's 100 men. 50 will walk away and say, I'm not interested. This is not what I'm looking for. 25 will say, I can do it. Get involved 3 months ago. I can't do this. You have to find somebody as driven as you are who understands it. Get somebody from Goldman Sachs. Get somebody first year law firm where they're giving them all the grunt work. You have to find somebody who is as achievement oriented as you are. As a matter of fact, many of the great relationships, like Alex Hermosi, he said to his wife, business first, then the relationship. And you know what she said? I'm all about business first too. And then it created that third thing, meaning it looks like business is most important and then us, but we create this business together. So now it's more of a circle. So you got to find somebody who is on, it's a hard sell. You need one. Here's the thing, everybody. Don't feel badly about going next, 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 next. The alternative to say, everybody come in, I'll give you hours and days of my life. I'll give you my heart. I'll give you my body, whatever. We'll figure it out later. That means you're going to be 45, 50 and go, I wanted to be married. I don't know what happened because this one, that one, this one, that one, this one, that one wasted my time. Wasted my time. It's easier to go, no, 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 no. Oh, let me look at this. Huh. I'll give this a shot. Easier, easier, easier. Okay? So the one who wants the most is normally dominating the relationship because they have to have what they have to have. It's got to be their way. It's difficult if it's extreme. Most of those people attract a mutable partner who will give them that category. Okay, Jessa, $5. Hello, honey. Let's see. He indulged his ex in luxury gifts, Birkins. That is a real luxury gift, but is money conscious with me. What does this mean? Should it bother me? And should I bring it up? Yes, it bothers you. Yes, because you brought it up. Okay, so let's unpack this for a moment. Okay, and then I have 5 more things to tell you. This is an injustice to you because you're clearly aware that he was overly generous. But I have a feeling that the women for whom these men are overly generous, one of 2 things happens. 1, she didn't care about him that much. 2, she made him chase her. 3, she set up the dynamic from day 1. If you want me, this is what you have to do. And I'm not interested. So she was probably transactional from day 1, and or he thought in his mind that she was way out of his league. I'm not saying you're not, but for whatever reason, I think he overvalued her. Men throw gifts. Well, women do too, but predominantly wealthy men throw gifts at women to prove their desirability. Like this is what your life can be like with me, right? Now, I think she was that kind of girl. Interesting that she's an ex. So I would suppose that he did an autocorrection. Let's assume that part of this is he got burnt. He overgave to someone who didn't appreciate. Maybe she left him. This I don't know. If we were in a consultation, we would have had this done in 5 minutes by me asking you questions. So this is why it's taking a little bit longer. But I'm going to guess maybe she left him, or he tells you that it didn't work out because he was tired. Oh, she broke up with him because she lost attraction to him. Yeah, she was never that attracted to begin with. So he was trying to win her favor by giving these things. Why would he tell you about the Birkins, and do you know if that's true? Yeah, that's a good question. So, Jessa, here's the conversation I would have with him. He threw money, big money, at a woman to gain her affection, but she wasn't attracted to him. Now he has a woman who cares for him, and he's not giving to her because it's an when we make correction, when we've been deeply burned, the pendulum goes the other direction. So now he's making a correction, but it's an overcorrection, right? So he's decided, I'm not giving anything to women. At which point you have to say, this feels really unfair. There's a woman who didn't truly care for you as much as I do, who was rewarded for a lack of caring and had you in a rather transactional relationship where, to be honest, dude, you looked like a bit of a fool chasing her. And now you've got a woman that cares for you. And if anything, you are stingy. And I understand that the pendulum shifts back and forth, but that's really unsettling for me. And more than that, it makes me feel less attracted to you. So she was less attracted to you because you were chasing her. I'm less attracted to you because you're stingy. So someplace in the middle is the real you. I would like to meet that guy, not the one bouncing from side to side. And if that guy can show up, I'd like to have a real conversation with him. I'm not opportunistic. I'm not here for transactional reasons. I just want to know where you're at because I like a fluid give and take. And right now, I feel like I'm giving far more and you are really restricting yourself. Jessa, this wouldn't happen if you weren't already somewhat on empty. Okay? So there's a lot more going on here. It came up naturally in conversation because we talk a lot. Okay. Personally, I would ask him why he is trying to buy attention and love. Does he have deficiency in other areas? Now we're not going to point to his deficiency in other areas because he's never going to tell us the truth. Well, you think a guy's going to say, yes, I'm really deficient. I hate myself. Okay. Jessa, go back to what I said. Find your own condensed version of that. Okay. What camera are you using? My face thing in the laptop, whatever that is. Okay. I'm having such a great crush on him and allowed him to get gifts and money from me. Bentley, are you Mike with another name here? Because we hear this story a lot. Okay. I gave him so much power and now I am ignoring him. He's calling daily. This is Mike, by the way. I knew it. I knew it. Oh, he's calling you because you're the gravy train. He's not calling you because he likes you. This is a transactional relationship. This guy was mean, cruel, and took your money and didn't pay attention to you. He gets cut off now. This is where the only time in your life you will have any power over him. So this is where you take control. He's calling you, you don't pick up. He needs to reach out to you because he needs an infusion of cash. He doesn't have his mark anymore. You were a patsy and you were a chump. I gotta speak straight because I care for you. I could tell you a lovely story to make you feel good, or I could help you. So understand it is what it is. I'm glad he's calling you daily. You just put it through to voicemail. Just I'm not interested. Okay, love. Okay, here we go. Not picking up. Oh. Everybody, can we please give this lovely man a big commendation? It's been a couple months now, and you've closed it full circle. Now, you got the power. Okay, number 3, the pursued versus the pursuer. Obviously, the one being pursued holds greater power. This is especially true in the initial part of relationships. This is why some women do such hard game in letting a man catch them, or guys do it too with men. It doesn't matter. They make it so impossible, therefore elevating their perceived value. Now, the one who is being pursued obviously has more power because they get to decide if and when they want to be with you, right? But the only way to stop a pursuer, if it looks like they got all the power, is you just stop. Just like Mike. It will blow their mind. No explanation, no conversation. Stop. Stop everything. Because they live on this juice. It's just like a narcissist, okay? They actually live on the juice of you following them. It's an ego. It's like they're mainlining it, okay? Your attention. And you may be one of many that they play this game with. And they're so impressed with themselves. You can flip that power, you stop. If they're not responding, if they're playing games, you stop. They'll try to reach you numerous times. They'll reach out in covert ways. Then they'll reach out directly when they're really frustrated. And you will just say, yeah, I don't go for that. Life is simple. If I'm attracted to somebody and we're attracted to each other, we move forward. I'm not into games. Okay? That's how you break the spell. That's why it appears, of course, the pursuer has all the power until the pursued has all the power until the pursuer stops. Okay? Then the pursuer has all the power. Now, you have to understand that people, and especially I think men have been inculcated to this understanding far more than, well, we have too in our own way. I'll start with men. Men have long been taught from the time they were in middle school from other guys that, the guy who's the real guy is the one who gets the hottest girl. I mean, he doesn't have to be the football captain. He could be the nerd. But if he's got a hot girl, he's the hottest guy. He is the biggest man. He's worth more than all the other guys there because everybody wants to know how he did that. So a man's pecking order, besides money and power, which automatically gets the hottest girl, right? A man's pecking order has long been tied to the trophy that he attaches to him, the woman he could win. All right. And for men uniquely, this is perceived as a win. All right. If women were buying a man and providing, yachts and gifts and planes all over the world, and we had some guy following us, I don't think we'd be thinking, yeah, man, he adores me. I'm really it. I think we'd be thinking, God, this sickens me that I have to go through this nonsense just to keep him. But men don't perceive it that way. They have this beautiful ego protection that allows them to be what they are in the world. Okay. and helps them to survive, and then all of us survive. So that's the guy's story. So we want to make sure that the elevated status that we give somebody, if we are pursuing them, that they're really worth it, right? Because they get elevated status by the fact that they're being deeply pursued. And this goes for women in beauty. They're pursued because of that factor. So there are a lot of women that are absolutely gorgeous, and the man that intrigues them is not the man who's falling all over them. It's the withdrawal. And is this a little bit of game? Yeah. Is it okay? It's just between us. Okay. All right. Number 4, the secure partner versus the anxious partner. Now, it's a little bit of attachment theory, and I'm sorry I'm going to have to do that for some of you. It is for those that are insecure and feeling uncomfortable. And let me just say that maybe you have insecure attachment. Maybe this person is a narcissist and a manipulator, and they are just playing you to make you insecure. So you can kind of be with them, but then you always doubt that you really have them. There are people who consciously manipulate to keep you on your toes, that you're always going to lose them. That's how they keep power. All right. But if you're naturally anxious and you're afraid of losing your partner, obviously they have much more control over you. How do you get out of that? Did you live a life before them? Did you have goals and dreams before they became the center of your world? Those are the questions to ask yourself. Because if you had a life before them, you'll have a life after. If you had goals and dreams before them, I bet you put them aside because now they're your total focus, capturing them, keeping them, getting them, feeling safe. And if you are working that hard at feeling safe, that's a good indicator that all of your churn is because they are purposefully keeping themselves away from you, or they're an unconscious avoidant that doesn't know how to run away fast enough, and then sometimes comes back. It's just, it doesn't matter. It's not a good scenario, but that's the way out of that. Okay. Bentley, 499. Thank you so much for your information. Anything ending in .99 is done from an Apple device phone. Oh, I do feel like I have the power again. I don't really need him. He needs me. Absolutely. He needs, now sadder than this, Bentley, I'm so happy that you've come to this realization, but he needs your money. You know, you're looking for the real thing. We got to put you in another pond to fish from, because whatever pond you found this one in, not good. Valerie, $20. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Long distance younger guy unfollowed me yesterday. Been in no contact. He also unfollowed several women. I'm sad that he put me in the same category after everything. He has the power. Why would he do that? New serious woman, I'm hurt. So there were a couple of people here that had long distance relationships with younger guys. I'm trying to remember back all the different stories, and I want to make sure I have the right people here. Um, this was a love that didn't turn out the way you wanted it, right? You were far more invested than he was. So he had the power from day one. Now he closes you down and has even more power. Right. So just like Bentley, AKA Mike, the only power you have is to walk away. You have to accept when there's nothing that's gainable. You've been at this gambling table, you're broke completely, and there's no money left on the table. Not for you, not for anybody else. There's just nothing there. It's what I call shaking the empty can, right? You're just shaking the empty can. You're praying to God something's going to come up, but nothing's coming out. So you have to admit that. He's not doing this to, how do I say? I don't think anybody had an elevated position that they lost. I don't think anybody ever had a position. I don't know what's up with this guy. I don't know why you know other women that he's talking to. I don't even know that this is a real person. This long distance thing could be a con artist. It could be a scam for all I know. Were you the gal that flew out to visit this person and then he kind of shut you down? Or are you writing me about, because there are a couple stories that are very similar. Uh, okay, you're right. I'm having such a hard time letting go. There was nothing there. You got to move on. You just have to. Okay. Did you meet him in person? I flew to New Jersey. Yeah. Did this kid, uh, you know, what somebody wants when they're chatting online is completely different than what they're able to pull off in real life. You drove it to him. All right. You did all the work on this relationship. You did all the work to keep the contact. You did all the work to I mean, you were just driving it by to him. So you were, yeah, it's, sweetie, this is a no-go. This was now, to put it in perspective, this was a fantasy that you wanted. He fueled it. You're not crazy. He fueled your fantasy for whatever kicks he gets out of that. Malicious, unconscious. It all washes the same. You end up with nothing. And when you have nothing, I understand there's a deep need to like get something out of this whole horrific situation. This is exactly when you turn around and you go, that's it. You're cut off. You're cut out of my life. You're cut out of my energy. You're cut out of my thoughts. You go play your games with somebody else. That's the only time you get your power back. Okay. It was a something and then it wasn't. This kid couldn't concentrate. Bentley, I had the same problem too, Valerie. I just got sick of him finally and cut it off. Bentley, you're helping out Valerie. I like this. Very nice. Get a better cookie, says Jeff. Get a better cookie. That's right. Um, there are people out there that they should never be dating. They shouldn't even, they should not even, there should be some kind of, I don't know, verification thing on these dating apps where you meet these people and uh, they even show you that they have the capacity to be a decent human being. But that's, yep. Long distance is hard, number one, because you have no control over all the people they're seeing and with whom they were already involved before you got there. And so you're kind of like a temporary spice, like they ordered out for something, but they don't want it every day. Now, there's $5. I know how to attract someone to me, but when I open up with my authentic self, most men run the other way. It's a bit disheartening. You know what? You've been on this a long time. I want you to deeply consider having one consultation with me. I just want to hear the language you're using. I don't think it's a problem relaying who you are. It could be the verbiage you're using, it could be the timing. There's something that doesn't, I don't think it's you. I think there's something, yeah, a license to date. Yeah, yeah. We should all be, we should have to pass a test in order to have a license to date and not one where you can just cheat and know the answers. Yeah. Um, enough to say, all I can say is it's better to rifle through people who don't want to be there than waste time with those who really don't want to be there and just waste your time. Okay, so let me continue on. So we've just covered attachment theory, that obviously the one who has a deep need to feel secure and is unstable, whether created by the other partner or inherent within themselves, they are going to not feel in control of the relationship. Okay. The provider versus the dependent. Now, I'm going to flip this one on its side. Normally, the partner who is seeking, some kind of financial compensation or resources is much more subservient or lacks the power to the one who has, right? This is what we think. However, I don't think it was updated to look at the world in which we live. Right now, women have power and money on their own, not just the men. And while there seem to be a growing group of women who simply don't want to work at all and want to be stay at home girlfriends or well taken care of wives, for the most part, they really appear to be subservient, and yet it is their beauty that is being bought. So as long as they have their beauty, they're good. If they lose their beauty, they're lost. Because the only way you can play that game is you've got to have youth and beauty. When they're gone, there's nothing for you to offer. I'm being honest. It's a transactional relationship. Most people think that the one with the power and status is the one in control. However, if you have a partner who is way out of your league, same age, older, or even more compounded in its effect, younger, they're hot, they're gorgeous, and they are desperately wanted by everybody. Even though you have the money and you have the power, it looks like you really don't, because at any moment they could leave you. Now, if you're somebody that's just in it transactionally, you'll swap them out for the next one who'll stay. If you're somebody who's in love with them, you're in deep problems because you may have the resources, you have the external impression of power, but they're controlling you by having the resource you do not have, youth and beauty, which is a premium. And if they're good in bed, that's a hook. All right. What happened to love? Well, today we're talking about control. So this is not patently a discussion about love. This is to help all of you figure out where you have control and where you don't. And again, most people feel that these things are black and white. And I'm here to tell you many of these are mutable. Okay. The person who appears to be subservient can flip the script under certain circumstances to become the one with power. All right. Let me move on to this. The one with more dating options. Okay, this is fixed. The one with more dating options definitely has more power and control than the one with fewer. That's just the way it is. This means whether you have more dating options because you're gorgeous, famous, wealthy, whatever. It's what we call you're definitely out of your partner's league, but you have to be out of your partner's league straight across the board, every category. And then you have certainly more power. Now, how do we work our way around this? What do you have if you're not the one that has if you're not the one that people are beating down their door to get to, and you know your partner is the one that everybody's coming on to, people can't wait to steal them from you. It's a full-time job. Maybe the question to ask yourself is, this is a lot of work. Do I really, I don't know. Do they make you feel safe and secure and they're totally with you? It depends on their attitude. I have dated you. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. I've dated uniquely good-looking men. I was in a gym. Okay, that's it. Don't drink, don't take drugs. I was in a gym. Not only face, but body. And they had to be bright and ambitious. Not everyone. And they were much younger. Now, everybody wanted that and wanted it even more so when somebody with power, social standing, notoriety, celebrity chooses them. Now I've elevated their status simply because they're my partner. Now, people who didn't look at them before, like, huh, what did she see that I didn't? Oh, I can't believe I missed that. You run an equal risk. However, if that person is just like, I don't care, there are some people that are so gorgeous that they've never done anything to attain like anybody's attention because it just happens naturally. But there are those wonderful individuals that really, for whatever set of reasons, are kind of unconscious about their level of beauty and their power, their sexual attraction. They're just not about it. They're really good, loving, warm people. And they relish the fact that somebody has the capacity to love the real them. And it was always that way. That they just feel safe and comfortable and happy around you. And they're not going to leave you for somebody else. They're just not. because they're not discontent with what they've got. So there are people that are built like that. And that's if you're going to have somebody really gorgeous or really powerful or really famous, that's the one you want that is completely unaffected by the externals. It's a rare find, but if you can find that, it's awesome. Okay. And the last category is now, this is kind of a weird one, but it's true. The one who controls the level of intimacy. Now, being sexual or not being sexual with your partner is sometimes a tool that's used to control the partner. I've known the strangest situations, but remember, you have to remember over 6,000 individual clients, 6,500 now, 67 almost. I keep changing the numbers, but it's too hard to keep track of at this point. I mean, it's just like I hear so many stories. I knew a gal whose bodybuilder boyfriend was so into fitness, he would not have sex with her if she didn't have the right weight. He would weigh her every night before he'd have sex with her and demanded 500 sit ups before they go to bed. And she was nuts. She was in a food addiction program because she was so, he had her so crazy. You and I are looking at this going, I'd get rid of the guy. But he had so taken over all the power in her life by, I'll have sex with you if you meet these standards. I mean, it's insane, right? But then I've heard from my guy clients that they have wives or girlfriends that the minute they make a serious commitment are like, yeah, you're not getting BJ's anymore. It's not happening. They're like, what? I'm married to you now. She's like, no, I don't really like sex that much. I just did it, to marry you. Maybe once every couple of weeks, you're lucky. If I feel like it. And they're like, oh my God, now I'm married. Now she tells me, right? So the one who controls the intimacy. We ultimately, we don't want one person to be in control. And to go to the back of the top of the conversation that I had when we first started this discussion, each person has their strengths. And in a healthy relationship, we can allow our partner to have categories and we have categories. Do you remember me telling you the story about Regis asking if he could have driving in the snow? My young partner, because remember, I was still in financial news at the time. And when I built this home in northwestern New Jersey, it was meant to be a weekend home, right? I was semi-retired. I was on doing financial news. FNN is now CNBC, right? So I came out there, and the Star Herald or whatever the paper is did a big expose in the lifestyle section, like Susan Winters moving out. It was a bit of a big deal. So when he and I got together, I mean, I had the house, I had the money, I had the cars, I had the reputation, I had the notoriety. And I remember my girlfriend was coming to visit. Northwestern New Jersey is really windy. Now, I grew up in Minnesota, where you've got snow up to your waist starting at like October, and chains and spikes on your tires, and getting stuck in the snow could be life and death. Pre cell phones or pre walkie talkies, any of that stuff. There's no moms driving to school in a nightgown, dropping off their kids. I mean, it was like it was brutal. You had to know how to handle the snow and black ice. So he's like, honey, I think I better drive because it's dangerous out there. And I said, Regis, I grew up in Minnesota. Just come on, I'm just gonna drive. He said, can't you give me one category? Can I have driving in the snow? And I just stopped and I went, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? I didn't realize it. And I mean, it's a funny story, but I tell you this story to rat on myself because I didn't know. I had taken, no, I didn't try to. I had all the categories. Where in the world was he going to shine? And then how can he feel good about himself in the relationship if I'm not letting him shine? So when we got our first sled dog together, the Samoyed, he built the gates on the deck, and did all sorts of cool things. And, I would always thank him so much because he'd done stuff that really saved me time and energy. And, he did it with love. And he was a great doggy daddy and a fabulous, wonderful, fabulous, loving partner. One of the most emotionally mature and emotionally intelligent men I've ever met in my life. Wonderful guy. So we could do this unconsciously. For those of you that come in preloaded with a lot of achievements and success, maybe Nathusa here, you know, maybe these guys are trying to figure out, well, what category do I get? Why does she have me here? What's my purpose? Because you find nowadays, especially in the hetero world with women looking for men, a lot of the men look at the women and go, well, what what am I supposed to provide? She's got money, she's got status, she's got power. Well, I don't tinker around the house. I don't have a workshop. What am I supposed to do here? So it's a discussion to have. In a healthy relationship, we try to divide up the categories. And here's the way to know where your negotiation and your fights should center upon if you feel that you don't have enough categories of power or you feel like you don't have enough power. What is absolutely essential that you will go to the mat for? That's your bottom line. You do not compromise those things. It could be monogamy, it could be honesty, it could be, nope, we need to spend at least 2 full days together during a week, or we need a date every single week, or we need to absolutely keep everybody out of our personal space. None of this slipping into our DMs, none of this private social media sites that we can chat with people. That's a no-go in our relationship. Whatever it is, whatever things you got to fight for, that's your bottom line. That's where you get your power and your control, because in that way, you're setting your want is super strong. The things that you can let go and give them are the categories you don't care about. Do you have to be? I mean, like, mostly women do travel plans. You guys know that? Very few guys say, hey, listen, here's where we're going, and here's what we're going to do, and I've got your plane ticket for you. I mean, mostly women, believe it or not, women tend to handle the finances. They tend to handle everything that's paid around the house, and they tend to handle all of the social networking of the relationship, who you're going out with, who you're having your, double dates with whatever couples, play dates with couples, weekend plans. Women tend to do that plus planning trips. We take over. Now, guys, if you're in one of those dynamics and she's not, you gotta, if you're like, hey, we gotta sort this out because you love the beach, honey. I love skiing in the cold weather. And here's how it's gonna go. I don't want to go to the beach all the time. You don't want to go in the mountains. We gotta make a compromise. It's like your family gets Christmas, my family gets Thanksgiving, and then we'll do it the opposite way next year. So here's where you negotiate to make sure that you get your needs and your wants and you get your power back in the relationship. Okay, so I'm done talking. Any questions that you have about this, please let me know. Let's see. I can drive in the snow for you, Jeff. I bet you can. He was younger. Yes, Valerie, he was younger. The one who bought the dog with you. Yeah, I think I bought the dog without him. I probably just made that decision. I was just like a locomotive at that point in my life. Just like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. Yeah, he was younger. Great guy. A horrible story about the bodybuilder boyfriend. My ex-husband is a bodybuilder that never did that. See? Okay, great. Let's see. I have a PhD and many accomplishments and had similar situations as Nathusa until I met an older celeb who didn't run away, and I'm in slow getting to know each other mode, long distance. We met on the plane. Excellent, Dana. Excellent. Excellent. Nowadays, so the typical format male, female, heterosexual dating, man's got the power, woman wants to be married and have kids. That's kind of like, that's an option, but it's not everything now. So as the dust settles, the questions you need to ask yourself: what do I want? Why is it important to me? As I present what's important to me, do they seem to want what I want? Do they want what I want and want it with me? Have I gone at a slow enough pace and tried to modulate my heart and my fantasy and my dream jumping forward, thinking, oh boy, good, this could be the one, to actually pace myself to have enough sanity to say, are they consistent in this? Have I had the honesty conversation with them so that we can have the foundation of being able to talk about this stuff? Because if we don't have the foundation where we can tell the real and talk about the truth with each other, not going to work. Okay. I need a lady to make me do setups for falling in love. Jeff, you're required to do 5 sit-ups at the end of this program. Yes. Okay. You're gonna have to jump out of your truck and, I don't know, do it in the way station center, whatever it is. I told the way station, I played a joke on my boyfriend's mother was German. This was another boyfriend, the 10-year relationship. And so I was driving her. She was really a big gal. And I said to her, oh, Ruth, this is the weigh station. They have to weigh you here. She goes, what? That they're going to weigh me here? And I said, yeah, we have to weigh you. It's for the concrete. They have to make sure that everybody weighs right. She goes, what? I'm not going in there. And I said, no, Ruth, we have to weigh you. And I get her. She's walking in there. She goes, I don't want to be weighed. You tell them I don't want to be weighed. Okay. People should be in a relationship equally. Nobody should be trying to wield power over anyone else. That is the ideal. If it were the reality, we'd never have a show that's discussing this. Okay. Power is always going to be happening in every relationship you have. This is why so many times we have adjacent discussions about boundaries, about when somebody has gone past the point of respecting what you want and what you need. This is why we have so many discussions about how to communicate. Every relationship has a power dynamic. You don't want to admit it, but it does. I'm not asking you to be hypervigilant. I'm not asking you to be neurotic or anxious about it. I'm just saying, hopefully, this is in your head now. And if a situation comes up, with the very rare exception, most of these things are flippable. They are. They're flippable. Okay? According to one of the 7 things that I said. Right? Worst case scenario, the last card in your back pocket is, I'm getting out. Doesn't work for me. As long as you know that that's the last card that you can always pull, why are we so nervous about everything in between? All right? Okay. Any questions here? Any more questions? So you all know that I've been doing interviews, and you've only seen Jonathan's. I have about 6 already. I did a Miss Universe, very interesting conversation. I did Ken Reed, all about attachment theory. I did, golly, who else? I did my friend Neil Wood, who's the happiest man I know. I wanted to know why he's always so happy. I've known him long enough. It's not a game. He really is. And he doesn't come from happy beginnings. So I am continuing to do that. I want you to check out the Susan Winters show. I've discovered I'm in the top 1% of 3 million in my category. This I never even knew. And I keep telling you this, but as I listen to podcasts while I'm out here in the desert, it's not like I have New York City's cultural input and intellectual input with me every day. There's a lot to be learned by this, and all of the live shows are not strict because there's too much of me chatting with all of you. But every other video that you've seen is on there, including the interviews. I want to encourage all of you to go to the newsletter and sign up for it. I don't sell your stuff. If you want your data back, I don't know. I just write MailChimp and say, delete their data or whatever. There are a lot of I do it twice a month, and every single newsletter has a special gift offer, something or other for you. Let's see, what do we have? 50, Marta, 50. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, thank you, Marta. I have a massive crush on a close coworker who is unavailable. Ooh, he knows I'm head over heels for him. I feel weak. I can't leave this job. Mm. Okay, so now I have to ask you, Marta, why is he unavailable? Is he married or with somebody else? Okay. Now, here's how you can spin this. It's a crush. Crushes are based in fantasy, my dear. I have a client that has a massive crush on somebody who is, remember, I deal with people that are celebrities, sports stars, and heads of Fortune 100 companies. Okay. She has a massive crush on a top tech executive. Now, I'm telling you this because I want to play this forward. She works with this person, and originally he was not available. And he had an equal crush on her, but they couldn't act on it. So he got free from his encumbrance. And what she discovered is her crush was entirely based upon who he was at work, the man that she saw at work. The take charge, clear minded, assertive, risk taking, grounded, dynamic, visionary. Inside the relationship, he's wimpy, insecure, bounces back and forth between should he go back to his ex, should he be with her. It was so repulsive to her that she lost her crush. So, crushes are the impressionistic painting where we fill in it's not even impressionistic, it's pointillistic. We really go and fill in the rest of it. Okay. It's a Rorschach test. This is what a crush is. You see this person in a certain light and they are on. They're on because they're at work. So they've got their work persona. You don't know what they're like off duty. Oh, yeah, maybe you've had drinks together. That seems wonderful. I'm telling you, you don't know the whole story. So I'm going to ask you to utilize this as excitement over going to work in the morning. Use it like flirtation because right now you're safe. It's only a crush. And crushes can get you through some really boring days at work. A little sideways glance as they walk by, maybe getting excited because they're in a meeting with you. Okay. Again, you do not know this person behind closed doors and in the midst of a romantic relationship because people that seem so together, you get them in romance and the crazies pop out. Okay. So, this is my word to you to uh, pull some of that, keep the sexual tension that gives you a lift and puts a bounce in your step, but don't let it control you. Okay. That opal is magnificent. Oh, is this what you're talking about? This is actually silver. I think you're talking about this. This is my friend. So Johnny Rico, Johnny Make It Go. I did some videos for him. This is 0.99% pure silver. And he puts it in these little globes and he gave these to me to help him sell. And so I decided today, because I don't have a lot of, this is always, this drove me crazy. When I was a fantasy action figure for comic books, we'd get the ink cans or the sketches and they'd be opposite. So when I'm here on camera and I'm trying to brush my hair, I got I'm the wrong hand, the wrong direction. But he's with somebody else and honestly acts really disinterested toward me. I think, Marta, I think you admire who he is at work. And he's, you know, it's interesting how we can find extra pleasure in rather routine days. You love your job. Okay, you can't leave the job. Well, I don't know that you love it, but you can't leave it. Use it as a little excitement to go to work. Okay? Just use it. He doesn't know about you. Go have your mental fantasy if it gets you through the day and gives you a little kick. But leave it at that. Okay? I hope this has helped everybody. All right, B and Gwyneth, thank you so much. I really appreciate all of this super chat. Again, the little green alien on the wall behind you. I like that. Oh, that's actually a very famous. That is a girl with a dove on her head. This is a very famous Japanese painter. This might be one of the most, how do I say, important pieces in this entire house. It was given to me as a child by my godparents. And yeah, she's not an alien. She's actually a little Asian gal. She's a little Japanese gal with a little dove on her head. And I think it was beautiful because I've had that since I was a baby, pretty much a toddler. Okay, it's true. I'm a different person at work. Good, Erica. Okay, so we're helping Marta here. Everybody, I will see you next week. Please write in the super chat, write in super chat, or write in just in the segments here in the chat feature, what you want me to talk about next week. I have some ideas. Okay. And I look forward to seeing all of you. Please check out the Susan Winters Show, leave comments. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, put on the notification, watch the Tuesday shows that I drop. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, B and Gwyneth, for always being here. I love both of you dearly. Thank you, Jeff, for pulling over your car. Thank you, all of my super chatters. Mike, A.K. Bentley, so proud of you. So happy for you. Everybody, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Mwah. Bye now.